As we reported earlier this week, there has been a delay in the trial of a Catholic business tycoon and pro-democracy figure in Hong Kong. 75-year-old Jimmy Lai, the founder of the now defunct Hong Kong newspaper Apple Daily, has been behind bars since 2020 for his role in protests and unauthorized assemblies. China is now pushing Lai's trial to September as they reportedly look to charge him with more serious offenses like collusion with foreign powers and publishing seditious material. If convicted, Jimmy Lai faces life in prison. And joining us tonight is Father Robert Sirico, co-founder of the Acton Institute and a personal friend of Jimmy Lai. Father, thank you so much for coming on today. We really appreciate it. A lot to get to here, but first, if you don't mind, please tell us a little bit about your friend Jimmy Lai.
Well, he's a fascinating man, a Renaissance man in many respects. He was came to Hong Kong at a very early age and worked his way up from the garment district, building first a textile industry, a very popular, like a Benetton clothing manufacturer that went through all of China, and then when Tiananmen Square hit, he switched to Apple Daily. He founded the largest newspaper in Hong Kong and continued the fight for freedom in China. Of course, the Chinese government didn't like this at all, and he was involved in numerous protests, especially the big protest just before the COVID shutdown. And for that, he was charged for various things. This recent one, for which he's going to serve 5 years and 9 months, was just a zoning violation, basically. But the big trial is going to be under the National Security Act, and it could mean that they actually bring him to mainland China. I know that they say they're going to try him in September, but we'll see what happens there. He's 72 years old, 73 years old, and this could be a life sentence if it goes this way. And, no one who ever gets charged in these courts is found innocent.
Yeah, and Father, what was your reaction when you heard all of this news?
Well, obviously deeply concerned, but I can't say it was a surprise because Jimmy and I have talked about this potential eventuality for many years. We produced a documentary called The Hong Konger, which recounts some of the story. And some of those clips were taken many years ago where he understood very clearly that he was defying the communist government. This man is a committed businessman, a billionaire, a free marketer who could have left Hong Kong at any time. He's a convert to the Catholic Church, and also one of his good friends has also been harassed, Cardinal Zen, who brought him into the church.
Yeah, and that leads me to my next question. I wanted to talk about specifically Cardinal Zen as well.
Yes.
One of the things that we want to touch on with that is that he filed an appeal with the country's high court and, as you know, found guilty of failing to register a fund to aid protesters 3 years ago. What are your thoughts on all this? And we know that Pope Francis has yet to publicly, that is, comment on Cardinal Zen's prosecution.
It's amazing to me and, very disappointing that the Holy Father or the Secretary of State in the Vatican haven't said anything about this. Of course, they have the complexity of their secret negotiations and agreement with China, which is trying to subordinate the underground church to the official Patriotic Association, which is highly problematic from a theological point of view because they're demanding changes to the scriptures, not allowing children to go to Mass, and all of this kind of thing. And Cardinal Zen saw this years ago, even under the pontificate of Pope Benedict, and warned that this is what would happen. Zen is a courageous and honest man who speaks his mind, even when it's uncomfortable for him. I remember one night I was at Jimmy's home at a dinner which Cardinal Zen attended, and I asked him what he thought about the situation more generally. At the time, it hadn't come to this head. And he said, look, I'm a son of John Bosco, St. John Bosco. I'm completely obedient to the Holy Father, but that doesn't mean I have to turn my eyes from what I see as a real danger to the church in China.
Oh, Father, I wish we had more time to speak, but thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for your insights. We appreciate it. God bless you.
Thank you. God bless.